Okay, so let's dive right into this. We're going to break down one of the most talked about, most controversial books on social dynamics ever written, Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Now, whether you see it as this brilliant guide for navigating a complex world or just a cynical handbook for manipulation, you can't deny that its ideas are, well, they're powerful. And today, we're going to tackle the foundational first 5 laws. And this really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The book's core premise is basically that the world can be a harsh place, and pretending it's not is kind of naive, even dangerous. So understanding these laws, it's not really about choosing to be ruthless. It's presented more as a form of self-defense, a necessary tool for survival in a world where, let's be honest, a lot of people are not playing by the rules. So the book frames this whole pursuit of power as a really intricate game, right? A game with its own set of unspoken rules. It's a game that's been played for centuries in royal courts, and it's still being played today in corporate boardrooms, maybe even on your social media feed. And like any game, to play it well, or shoot, even just to avoid being played, you have to know the rules. So let's get into them. All right, law number 1. This is all about managing your relationship with the people above you. The core idea? It's simple, but it's so critical. Never, ever make your superiors feel insecure by showing them up. It is a really dangerous game to play, and it doesn't matter if your boss is an emperor or a regional manager. See, here's the crucial point. Powerful people, they have egos. They have insecurities, just like the rest of us. So when you display your talents a little too brilliantly, you risk making them look bad or feel threatened. And instead of winning them over, you just trigger their fear. The real goal is to make them shine. Because if they shine, you'll shine in their eyes. You just gotta let them be the star of the show, and you can be their favorite supporting actor. And the story of Senno Rikyu is, wow, it's a perfect and tragic example of this law in action. This guy was the emperor's absolute favorite, a master of the tea ceremony. But he kind of forgot his place. He started subtly competing with his master, stealing the spotlight. And the result? The emperor's insecurity turned deadly. It's just a stark reminder that favor is fragile. And believe me, it can be lost in an instant. Okay, now for one that sounds really counterintuitive. Law number 2 warns us about the very people we're most likely to trust, our friends. The book argues that when it comes to power and your professional life, friends can actually be way more dangerous than your enemies. So the book breaks it down like this. You hire friends for comfort, not always for competence. And that familiarity, it can easily breed envy. An enemy, on the other hand, well, they have something to prove. If you can turn a former enemy into an ally, they're often more loyal because they appreciate the second chance and there are no fuzzy feelings to get in the way. At the end of the day, a declared enemy is predictable. An envious friend, that's a hidden threat. Now, this is a provocative point for sure, but it drives home the weird utility of having an enemy. A clearly defined opponent gives your own cause or, your company's mission a sense of focus and urgency. It frames your struggle as this big battle of ideals, which can be a super powerful motivator. An enemy helps you sharpen your own identity. And that flows perfectly into law number 3, which is all about the power of misdirection. The whole idea is to keep people off balance, keep them in the dark. If they don't know what you're really after, they can't prepare a defense, and they definitely can't work against you. This classic con from the book shows you exactly how this works. See, people can generally only focus on one thing at a time. The con artist Yellow Kid Wheel, he presented his target with a familiar, seemingly normal business deal. So while the target was busy analyzing that, the real deception was happening completely behind the scenes. By controlling what people focus on, you control their perception of reality. Simple as that. All right, law 4. This one is huge. It's about what you don't say. In the game of power, your words are like currency, and you gotta spend them wisely. In a high-stakes meeting or a tense negotiation, saying less than necessary can often be your most powerful move. The psychology behind this is just fascinating. See, silence makes people uneasy. They feel this weird compulsion to fill the void. And when they do, they often reveal their own thoughts, their weaknesses, their intentions. By staying quiet, you force them to interpret your silence, and they'll often project power and intelligence onto you that you might not even have. And of course, the less you say, the less chance you have of saying something stupid that could tank your career. And this quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? A foolish action might be forgotten, but a foolish word, or, a regrettable tweet, can be repeated analyzed, and held against you forever. Words have this permanence that actions often don't. Once they're out there, you can't take them back. And finally, for this explainer, we get to law number 5. And this one might be the most important of all, especially in our modern, super-connected world. Your reputation is everything. It is the absolute cornerstone of your power. Think about it. Your reputation, your personal brand, it walks into the room before you do. It's a force that can win battles for you before they even start. If you have a reputation for being brilliant and ruthless, people will be intimidated. If you have a reputation for being honest, people will lower their guard. But the second that reputation is damaged, your shield is gone, and you just become an open target. So, how do you build it? The book says to focus on one single, outstanding quality. Make that your thing. Casanova's reputation as a seducer did half the work for him. Women were intrigued before he even said a word. But this works for anything. A reputation for brutal efficiency can make people work harder. A reputation for honesty can be the ultimate tool of deception. It's all about shaping perception. So when you step back and you look at these first 5 laws together, you start to see a common thread weaving through them, right? It's all about indirection and managing perception. It's not about brute force. It's about mastering your own emotions, controlling the flow of information, and understanding that what people think is true is often way more important than what's actually true. And that brings us to the big question, really. The book argues that these dynamics are always at play, whether we admit it or not. So what do you think? Is this an amoral guide we should condemn, a practical tool for self-defense, or is it just a brutally honest description of human nature? That's something to think about.